Remember, the 5th of November, gunpowder, treason and plot. I see no reason why gunpowder treason should ever be forgotten.
You have probably heard that somewhere else before, but just like me, maybe you didn't know where it comes from, or you knew where it comes from, but you didn't know much about it. Well, let's fix this. Today we're gonna be talking about Guy Fawkes, gunpowder, explosions, executions, and a few more things. So let's begin. Before we continue, let's rewind a bit and go back to Tudor times and King Henry VIII. You like. So, he divorces the church in Rome, he established his own church, the Church of England, make himself the head of the church, and basically he asks, "Hey Henry, can I have a divorce?" "Oh Henry, sure, go ahead." He divorces the lady, and then he looks for another. Quite an interesting story with his wives, and you can check the video we made about it by clicking that white thing up here. So when Henry made himself the head of the church, that rule applies for every monarch after him. So when he dies, his son Edward VI comes on the throne. He's a Protestant. He's a sickly child and he dies shortly after. Then his half-sister comes on the throne, Mary I, also known as Bloody Mary, but not because she liked the drink, but because she liked blood. You see, Mary was a Catholic and she really didn't like Protestants. She rules for about 40 years, dies. Then next on the line is her half-sister Elizabeth, which is Elizabeth I. Not this one, that one. Elizabeth is a Protestant, so the country swings back to Protestantism again. Being a very successful monarch, Elizabeth still is not a big fan of Catholics. The nickname of Elizabeth was the Virgin Queen. As you can imagine, she had no children and there was nobody to continue the name, which means Elizabeth was the last one of the Tudors. But Pavel, why are you telling us all that? Hold on, I'm getting to it. So when Elizabeth dies, there is no direct successor to the throne. So on her deathbed, she appoints James VI of Scotland, who comes down to England and becomes James I of England. Following the continuation, the Catholics were hoping for good times. Turns out James was a Protestant. But he promised not to interfere with the Catholics. He lied. And this is where today's story begins. A group of 13 Catholics decide to change the fate of the country. Every year there is a ceremony of the opening of the parliament, where the monarch and many important people that take important decisions are taking place in the ceremony. The plan is simple: blow up the parliament, kill the head of the country and start a revolution. So this group rents a room somewhere in the basement of the palace and slowly, patiently fill it with 36 barrels, all full with gunpowder. Nobody suspects anything, everything goes to plan, but one of the members sends a letter to one of the lords, which this letter reaches the king. A search was made and the police finds Guy Fawkes in a basement full with gunpowder doing his crosswords. Well, the last one probably not right. I read he liked Sudokus more. He is captured, tortured, and he reveals the names of some of the crew members. Shortly after, they are captured. And now the fun part begins. You see, back in the days, people didn't have cinemas. They didn't go out for coffee shops or to meet with people in restaurants. Their entertainment was executions. They had a lot of them, mainly hanging and chopping off heads. But if you were a traitor, this is where it gets interesting. Let me walk you through the process. Let's say you're the traitor. Firstly, they're gonna tie you. The other end of the rope is gonna go to a horse. Then they say, Lydia, and everybody watches the show. But this is just the beginning. This is how you arrive to your last place you will ever see. Next, they're going to hang you. But how do you hang people? You lift them on a chair or a horse, and then you push them so they break their neck and they don't suffer. But in this case, they're gonna lift you and you're gonna start suffocating. As soon as you start seeing the tunnel with the light at the end, and as soon as you start seeing the flowers on heaven, they're gonna cut the rope, so you're half dead. Now they're gonna cut your male thing and burn it in front of your eyes. If you're a woman, they're gonna directly burn you in one piece. After that, they're gonna cut you and take everything from your insides as they can. At that point, you should probably be dead, but just in case, they're gonna cut off your head. Next, they're gonna tie your legs and arms to 4 horses. They're gonna make them run in different directions, which you're gonna be ending up in 4 pieces. These 4 pieces will be sent to the 4 corners of the country as a message to all the people that have to do something bad with the king. Your head will be put on a spike at London Bridge. All this is made as a warning to anybody who dares to go against the king. But what happened to Guy Fawkes? He was considered to be the mastermind of this operation, but turns out actually he was one of the last ones to be hired, simply because he knew about gunpowder. Considered to be the mastermind, he was left to be executed last. So he is watching how his fellow members are executed in this brutal way. So when his turn comes, he's walking down, the rope is around his neck, and as they lift him, he jumps somehow the platform and breaks his neck, and he avoids all the agony. The main theory here is that anyway, he was split in 4 parts, and his parts were sent to the 4 corners of the country. There is another theory that says that the king was furious, and he orders a big fire to be built, and they throw the Catholic inside because they believe in resurrection, and if he dies in the flames, he won't be able to resurrect. His execution was on the 30th of January 1606. So this place is Old Palace Yard, and actually is the place where Guy Fawkes was executed. Turns out even a guy like Guy Fawkes, also known as Guido Fawkes, can have a legacy. This story is known as the Gunpowder Plot, and every year is celebrated on 5th of November. Children are encouraged to make dolls called Guy. You may hear them on the streets calling, "Penny for the Guy! Penny for the Guy!" So the money that children take will spend on fireworks. Then they take the guy, the doll, and throw it into a fire. What a lovely English tradition. The 5th of November is called Guy Fawkes Day, or Guy Fawkes Night, or Bonfire Night. But what about the mask? Even if you haven't seen Guy Fawkes, actually you have seen him. That mask represents him and his fight against the government. Guy Fawkes is the most famous member of the group that planned the Gunpowder Plot. Interesting enough, Game of Thrones fans, the guy who plays Jon Snow, whoever that is now starting series. He will play the main characters in the series called the Gunpowder Plot. I'm so looking forward to it. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to us so we can explode, and I will see you in the next one.